right, I'm going to press on to the survey section. So again, you're going to see once you hit the survey page, a high level where are you at, kind of a stoplight, and then trend over time. But if I just start a new survey, we have focused more on, to start with these two surveys, one based off of NIST, so National Institute of Standards and Technology, their CSF. It's based on that, it's our take on it, but that is one that we have used a lot, and then very recently we've added CIS's V8, so it's Center for Internet Security, and it covers their security controls. So that's the one I'm going to walk you through right now. We try to make this really easy to get through. You've got 5 controls, five sections, if you will, that the questions are going to cover, and then if I complete a few of these, I'll skip ahead and I'll show you some results in a second. So do you actively manage all of your enterprise assets to include user devices? Say we do some of that, and we push the user on to the next question. Do you have a process in place to ensure unauthorized assets are denied access to your network? So again, I would read through this. I would kind of figure out which section I fall in. We're not doing this at all, we'll say that. And then the last one here that I'll read through with you. Do you have a detailed and current inventory listing of all your software? So this is kind of starting to get into the software assets. We'll say we do this, but it's ad hoc. So a user would keep going through this. They would complete the different controls, and they would get a score at the end. But a score isn't super actionable. So one thing that we show, if I click into some results here, would be ranked by risk where they should focus. So if they were really poor in one aspect, in this case, it'd be data recovery. That's probably the weakest control. We give them specific things that they can go do to get better at that. So again, here was the question, here's how we answered this, and then here's a starting point. So in this case, we should set up a data recovery process and make sure that the scope of the data recovery activities is prioritized, and yeah. So again, you can kind of read through a few of these, but it's important to show them kind of what are the next steps. And with this as well, you can export it, you can download a CSV, you can download a report. So to get information out of our platform is pretty easy as well. Rob, what would you add as far as surveys go? Because this is where a lot of companies start.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. This is, it's actually very useful for a lot of our customers, especially smaller customers, and they don't know where to start, right? And so one of the things we're trying to do here is number one, not reinvent the wheel. There's a lot of good industry frameworks, and in fact, many customers say, look, I really want to follow an industry framework, or I need to for a regulatory reason or a contractual reason. So we try to follow those frameworks and then help them focus, right? And we think of it as if you're not doing any of these things, you got to start somewhere. Where do you start? What are the most important things? And so in a similar way with vulnerability, we worked with the security team to define what are the highest impact items, right? And what is the risk associated with any one of these items? So if we calculate risk by looking at the impact of that issue if you don't do it, times the likelihood that it'll occur, right? So the less mature you are, the higher the likelihood you'll have a particular issue. And we use that to calculate this risk that can help prioritize where you spend your effort. The question was, are there plans for other surveys? Mm-hmm. And yes, there are. So we have a number of surveys queued up. One of the things we did first was build an infrastructure where we can easily add in new surveys. So we're looking at one related to SOC, CMMC, actually a broader NIST survey as well. There's also, in a number of states, there are specific state regulations that require companies or like federal entities or state entities, school systems, to adhere to a certain framework. And so we're working with partners to implement those. We have a number of those queued up. You'll see that list grow over the coming months.